Welcome to the Dogs Are the Best Friends podcast. I'm Emily, and my best buddy, Flynn, is here too. Hi, everyone. This is episode 40, and I'm excited to bring you kind of a different show, a different kind of episode today. Now, Raven Scott and I became friends through a kind of a series of things. So first of all, we were classmates in a class last summer. Then she needed some dog training help, so we did that. We worked on her little dog, and Raven was amazing. She was consistent. That is the key whenever you're training your dog. And her dog has stepped up to the plate. Smart little filly. You'll hear us talking about her. She's a mini Schnauzer, just turned 2, like on the day that we did this interview back in November. And something totally off the charts different we're talking about also after we talk about Philly. That is about Zodiac personalities of dogs. Now, I'm not huge into that at all. I have to tell you, though, throughout my life, I've come to notice that me being a Leo, I have had some really phenomenal friends that are Sagittarians. And my one good friend, we've been friends for over 20 years now. And she's the same person. Her name is Julie, that she and her mom were on a couple episodes ago. She and I got to meet my birth dad in person. She was there with me and so supportive and excited for me. So I just think it's wild that it's that part, at least, has proven true to me. So what happened was Raven and I kind of messaged back and forth, and we both at the same time were thinking about how dogs, they also have certain personalities, right? And my dog Flynn fits with me so well. And guess when he was born? Yes, during that Sagittarian timeline. So we talk about our dogs. They're both Sagittarians. And we talk about other dogs as well. And it's just kind of a fun conversation to pull apart and look at it. Now, we reference a slideshow, and that is something that Raven put together. And she took the information from a website that I will certainly give credit to, and that it will be in the show notes as well. And I just want to make sure that's clear. We are not taking that person's information. We're talking about it. So be sure to check out that website. Now, are you ready? We have some trivia. Let's see how you do. Which ancient civilization named the Sagittarius constellation first? And by the way, another ancient civilization stole it from them. It changed it up a little bit. I'll tell you that answer later on. Here is Raven describing how they were searching for another mini Schnauzer, and this is how they found her.
And we're like, well, how do we find a Schnauzer again? So we found this breeder, and she was really reputable. She seemed like she knew what she was doing, and she had this litter. So I didn't really even look into when she was going to be born. We were just like, okay, well, as soon as you have the next litter available, we're up for it. Yeah. So she was a handful, though. And I went through 2 other trainers before I found you, because it was just I don't know. One trainer was like, oh, you should medicate her, give her,
I can't believe that. That just
pot, essentially, because she's too anxious. And then,
right.
And then learning about this whole Zodiac, I'm like, oh, that just totally dampers who actually she really is. She is a super outgoing, boisterous, fun Sagittarius. So, but it was difficult as a pup because, right, even when they're little, everything already is over the top, the energy, the chewing, the accidents, everything. So, and she does her job really well. She believes that she's here to defend us. She believes she's here to face off any critters or people. So she does do it very well. Our poor UPS man runs if we open the door.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you if that's gotten any better.
It has. You have helped me so much because you just solidified what my role is in teaching her. Okay, well, she doesn't own the door. So now, in training with the treats and then constantly training her on the walks, sitting, lay down, and at home.
I'm so glad. She's so sweet and she's very smart. The things that when you've worked with her like that, so quickly she picked up. It's not like you had to work on her, for months or something. She's so smart.
Yeah, she would get it within either the first day or the first week. She was very smart.
Yeah, she's come such a long way from when we first started talking about all the things, the barking and the going after people, and you couldn't walk her. It was hard to walk her. And
she's really good. I loved your advice about leave it. So I know what to do now. I have a tool. So when I'm out walking, I can focus her back in and I'll say, leave it. And then if she's not leaving it and she still kind of has the energy, I'll just kind of like tug her and heel her back next to me. And then she's like, oh, okay, I know what I'm supposed to do. And like, obviously I keep walking. I don't stop and stare at the other dog or person. And she's like, oh, I know what to do. And she like trots on by and I'm like, so proud. I'm like, I have a really well-behaved dog.
Yeah.
Where like the other dogs like lunging and barking at us as we walk by.
So tell us about Philly though. Like tell us a little bit more about her. Like what kind of fun things is she doing lately? Like just give us a little bit about that. And...
What is she doing? You know what? She loves digging. She's so funny. Like if I'm gardening.
Oh, no. Is she?
Which is absolutely part of her breed because they're like the varmint. I think they're called like a ratter. So like they're supposed to dig and like and chase all the rats off the farm. Essentially is what they're that's what they're bred to do.
Yeah.
And
oh my gosh.
It's funny. She's always loved digging, but she doesn't dig, thankfully, all by herself. She's not a mischievous digger. She's a helpful digger. She's so cute. Like, so if I'm digging a hole in the garden for some flower or something, she'll come in and she'll be like, okay, I'll help. Let's go. Let's dig.
I love it.
That's
so sweet. So sweet. Oh, and so you've seen her just mature into this, wonderful dog between getting some help with training because they all need it. Yeah. I always tell people, and I talked about it not too long ago on the podcast, that, they're different species. They don't know what we want from them. They don't understand it until we help them understand. And then they're happy to do it.
Yeah, they're like the veritable toddler. That's why I was thinking to myself, I have a third child and she's like a permanent toddler.
You said that you're kind of getting more into like the Zodiac, kind of the signs, and it's just kind of your interest has been piqued, I guess is the way to put it. And then I don't even know how this started. I was just thinking about this the other day and how I've had so many friends that are Sagittarius and like really good friends throughout my life. And I'm a Leo. So, and then you sent me a message and we went back and forth and I'm like, oh my goodness, she's thinking about this too, about, especially about dogs. Like usually it's a person kind of a thing.
Right.
So this is too fun. You threw this together, these, the slides.
I know. And I was just thinking it because I've been getting more into it. And then I was sitting cuddling with Philly. That's her favorite thing to do is cuddle with us. Like literally she'll like lay on her back in my lap and we'll just cuddle. And I was like, her birthday's coming up. Oh my goodness. She's it just dawned on me. She's a Sagittarius. And I was just, studying about Sagittarius the day before. And whoa, that makes complete sense. She's super boisterous. Nothing of her personality is subdued at all. She's very big. She's very loud, quote unquote, physically loud. That was the other barking issue, which you totally helped me with.
Right.
I'm able to say no quiet. And then it's funny, I'll know if it's an anxious bark or not. Because when I say no quiet, she'll whine and she'll run to me. And I say, it's okay, go in your crate. Or I'll just tell her it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting. She's able to communicate to me rather than just bark at the stuff that she's afraid of.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, she's super just energetic, which is the Sagittariuses are the Tiggers of the world, very enthusiastic. And every time the kids are playing, she loves to dive in and like amplify their playing and
stir them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, my boy's a Sagittarius, but he's not loud at all. He never barks. The only time he'll make noise is when I come home and he's excited.
Yeah.
And he doesn't bark. It's not a growl. I don't even know how to explain it. It's the most unique sound. And I
he's
caught it like
talking
once.
To you.
Yeah, it's just the strangest thing. So he's not loud, but he's very friendly and sweet, And then I don't know if you could bring that slide up too, but it was interesting because it's at the end actually too, isn't it? But it's fascinating because he does like to travel. It would seem he likes to get in the car, the truck, and go.
And then I was, just the nuances that you don't really notice. Sagittarius are great travelers, and she's always been ready to jump in the car and go anywhere.
Really?
And she will sit and lay down and be quiet and happy. The only time she would bark or growl is when we went through a drive-through, and I trained her not to do that as well. So
there you go.
I mean, she's just anxious. She just was like an anxious little puppy. So we just helped her realize that this big bad world isn't so scary. And she would get French fries when we went to the drive-through. So now when they go to the drive-through, she's like, this is a good place. I get French fries.
Just like Flynn, if we're at Starbucks, he'll drool because he's waiting for a puppuccino. Seriously, every time.
Awesome.
So funny. But I was actually surprised at how much of this did fit him. And don't take that the wrong way, because I know you're into it, but I just was kind of surprised that a lot of it fits him. He doesn't like to be indoors. Like, now that the weather finally has gotten cooler here and I can have the door open and the windows open, when I leave the door open and I put the baby gate out there, he is outside on that balcony. He doesn't want to be inside. And I don't blame him. I don't really want to be either. We've been inside for like 8 months now because of 94 degrees and humid, right?
Right.
So yeah. So it was very interesting to look at this.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a great pup to travel with you, when you're doing your mini house. And
yes, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm busy trying to find one. Hopefully it'll work out soon.
Yes.
But Dad, I don't know if you want to go through a couple of different ones or different dogs that you've known, if they fit the different descriptions.
Yeah, let me see. I can go through my sister's dogs. Hers is Gemini. So she has a golden retriever, Gemini. And the other thing that's really matured Philly, my dog, is taking her over to my sister's house. It's kind of like the only bubble that I go to currently with this whole pandemic is my sister's house.
It's true.
And so I take her there. There's a big yard, so she loves to be outside all the time. And so she has a golden retriever who's a Gemini, and she does like the Geminis are all about communication, and she's hilarious as well as comedy. Like, she will sit on the sofa like a human and she will just like stare at you like she's talking to you with her eyes. I'm like, stop looking at me. You're just like a goof. I don't want to hear whatever you're zoning in on me. She's so hilarious. She's very vocal. She actually, oh my gosh. She and the other one bark a lot when new people come in. That's been her problem as well, as they bark. They're kind of like announcing, like she's very vocal.
Yeah. And making sure you know about it.
Yes. And there's this hilarious sign that she's put up, like to the UPS or the Amazon delivers. It's like, she has a brand new baby. So it's like, don't ring the doorbell or SHIT is going to hit the fan. And like, they all like drop the package off and laugh when they read her sign. The dogs will bark and wake up the baby.
Yeah. Yep. And then she's going to be really upset. Very true.
And
interesting.
So there's like the Gemini's dogs are super smart and they're highly curious. Which can lead to both fun and mischief. And definitely that dog is a mischievous dog. She's
really
constantly like stealing people's socks. Like, she'll just like sneak them and she'll steal them. And she'll dig holes in the backyard. And like, she's trying to find a cool place, I think, because she has a lot of hair. But she's always just doing mischievous stuff.
And I did look up my other two dogs. One was born October 26th. That was Maisie, my soul dog.
Okay, let's look at October 26th.
So, yeah, if you want to.
Yeah. That's Scorpio.
Yes. And that actually fit her. Like the private part didn't. It says that they're like private.
Uh-huh.
She was like kind of reserved. So I don't know if that's kind of similar enough or not on that one. But she was so intense. That's why I feel like we were, because I could be pretty intense too. I like intense conversations. I don't like superficial stuff. Since she wanted to always play or she'd stare me down. And that was the thing. Number 3, make serious eye contact and seem to be able to read my thoughts. Oh my goodness, right there. That was definitely Maisie. So that was fascinating to look at this and be, and then build trust. I don't know. Like I had got her as a puppy. So I don't know if that was really, a part of that or not, but I did have to show her that I was a leader, so she could trust me as a leader. So
and it might be harder when you adopt an adult dog that is this personality. Right.
True.
Yeah, because then they might just be reserved for a while and kind of quiet and not fully trust you and kind of not be their full intimate self with you.
Right.
More or less. Right. Yeah. But as a puppy. True. Yeah, it's a lot easier because they're completely depending on you and they're young and malleable.
Right. They are, but so like he was 1.5 years, Flynn, so he wasn't a puppy and he's been amazing. So I'll be honest, he really has changed my mind. And I hate to admit this, but I'm on a dog podcast too, right? But I was much more for puppies, thinking everybody should get a puppy. And then with him, he's 1.5 years. I didn't have to do the potty training and like all that was really nice,
No, I kind of stand behind you on that. The puppies zone is really difficult.
Oh
And
my gosh.
Philly was my first puppy I ever had as an actual infant puppy.
Okay.
All the other dogs I've ever owned have been so easy because they were adults when I adopted them. It was like walk in the park. But it's like like when I adopted them, I felt like they were my own right away, and they kind of adopted me too. So
yeah, you still bond. It's amazing. And that's what I honestly, to come right down to brass tacks, as they say, that was my concern. Can I bond with this dog if I haven't had him since he was a puppy? Well, everybody that met him within like a week or two of getting him thought that we'd been together since he was a puppy.
Leo was my favorite because my sister's other dog is a Leo, and she's the most challenging. We don't know what breed she is. Okay. But I was reading it and I was like, oh, this is so her. Like, she doesn't like to share. She does not really get well along with others, like she's always constantly like aggressive towards other dogs if they get in her zone, and she growls at them like she doesn't want to share. Like, let's say they're begging for food under the high chair. She's really possessive, which I'm like, oh, Leo, that makes sense. And like when she struts around, she like kind of has this arch in her back, and her tail is curved and her head is high, and she like prances, and she looks like this royal show dog. It's like, oh my gosh.
I hope you enjoyed that very fun conversation that I got to have with Raven. Be sure to check her out on Facebook or Instagram. She is Return to Calm Mom. Now, here's the answer to the trivia question. I got some great answers from stardate.org, and that comes right from the University of Texas McDonald Observatory. So I know it's trustworthy. It has good information. Well, the Sagittarius is the archer, in case you didn't know about this, and it's a centaur. So that's a mythological half man, half horse, right? Now he has drawn his bow and he is pointing it right at the red heart of Scorpius. Now that's the scorpion, right? The archer is avenging Orion. Now, where does this all come from? Who started this, right? The Sumerians actually came up with this explanation, and is a satyr, which is part man and part goat. The Greeks did adopt the archery part, but they changed it to a centaur. So that's interesting. We all know that, right? In history, how many times has somebody, or a culture, I should say, come along and taken over and modified things to make it their own? So that is the answer. I will put the link to stardate.org in the show notes. Next week, we have another wonderful guest. Like I told you before, we have a ton lined up. Come back, have some more fun with dogs and dog information and stories. My crazy for the canines friend, I wish you a great week.